Salutations friends, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm going to be reviewing Atlantide from Tiziana Terenzi. This is an exceptionally beautiful white floral fragrance and I am excited to bring this video to you. So if you'd like to know what I think, then keep watching. First things first, this fragrance was sent to me to review and I do have a 15% off coupon if you'd like to save a little bit of money on this fragrance. Just for transparency purposes, I always like to let you guys know where I got a bottle, but this fragrance has been on my radar for a bit. Now, you're probably familiar with the presentation of this. My last haul video, I did an unboxing. I kind of showed you guys how this fragrance comes. It's really fantastic packaging. It's submerged in seawater, so you kind of gotta get wet and open it up, and the whole presentation was really, really cool. So if you want to see the unboxing for that, I will link the video below. Now, Atlantide from Tiziana Terenzi is an expensive fragrance. You're looking at spending $725 full retail price for a bottle of this. So it is very pricey, very expensive. But I want to talk to you guys about why I think it is so beautiful. Now, this has been on my must-buy list for a while, so this was something that I was eventually going to purchase within the next year, and I was very grateful for the opportunity to get this to review. But this is something that I have had my eye on for a while, specifically because I love white florals, and I love the idea of what this fragrance was supposed to be. It's supposed to transport you to Atlantis. It's supposed to be a rich and beautiful and very complex white floral fragrance, specifically tuberose, that has like some beautiful wisps of animalic florals, bright citruses, and a touch of ambergris in there to kind of give it like that like sea-kissed air kind of feel to it. So I was very excited for this fragrance and I was very impressed. So the notes in this scent, we'll get into the review. I have them down here because there's a lot. You have tuberose, passion fruit, there's also bergamot, cassis or cassis, I can never pronounce that. You have benzoin, ambergris, musk, orris, orange blossom, and narcissus. And narcissus is something I'm going to be mentioning in a little bit. What I like about this fragrance is it's fruity, but it's not fruity. It smells like fruit, and I think passion fruit was the perfect fruit to really add to this. There's a few others in there too, but passion fruit to my nose is the most predominant one. And I like how it gives it like a tropical kiss, like you're on this exotic locale with like exotic fruits and like sea air and some beautiful flowers blooming. It's a very transportive scent. Now there's a lot of things going on in here. The Narcissus I think is fantastic because it gives it a slight animalic touch that doesn't ruin this beautiful tuberose. The other thing I like about this fragrance is that it is a very mature scent, but it's not heavy and it's not dated. It's almost a fresh maturity, and I think that that's so awesome to see this like balance between something fresh and lively and bright and crisp, but also kind of like a beautiful and mature white floral fragrance. It's a very timeless scent in my opinion, and if you prefer those more kind of musky florals over the more kind of creamy florals or the more sweet florals that you can get in a lot of white floral fragrances, I think you're really going to enjoy this scent. This fragrance opens up bright, crisp, and dazzling. The bergamot in here is absolutely fantastic, and I like how it dries down to this beautiful, light and airy but milky tuberose scent. The musk comes out, the passion fruit comes out, the narcissus comes out, and the ambergris, and they work together to kind of create this beautiful kind of bed of fruits and florals and woods and musks that just kind of envelope this tuberose. But the tuberose is the most substantial note in this fragrance. I think it's just fantastic how it's all perfectly blended and perfectly balanced to create a beautiful kind of very unique experience in regards to smelling the sea and that brininess from the ambergris. The beautiful narcissic is floral and animalic. You have this bright, beautiful citrusy bergamot. Even the other florals and fruits that go with this really just create a gorgeous stage. It puts tuberose on display in a magnificent manner. It's fantastic. It's fruity, it's fresh, it's bright, it's aquatic, it's musky, it's white floral, it's animalic, and it all comes together in a very pleasant and very beautiful and a very sophisticated way to smell. And you might think to yourself, white florals and fruits, and you think that this isn't absolutely going to be leaning towards those more kind of like ultra feminine fragrances. This smells like a very much a shared sense. The saltiness of this, the muskiness of this, and the narcissus, work really well to kind of balance this and make this a truly unisex or shared fragrance that anybody can enjoy. I love the slight aquatic elements of this fragrance. I love the white floral elements of this, and I also like the bright crisp of this too. And again, I like how there's a soft fruitiness to this fragrance. I think the passion fruit was the perfect note that blends beautifully with this kind of very translucent, silky milkiness that the Tuberose has. It's a mature fragrance, but it's not a dated fragrance. It's a fruity fragrance, but it's not a fruity fragrance. And at the same time, it's got a lot of beauty to it that can be enjoyed in a variety of different ways. So if you're looking for a very sophisticated, very elegant fragrance to wear during the spring and summertime, this would be a gorgeous scent. It works really well in heat and humidity, but the slight animalic and musky elements of this too make this as a scent if you like white florals. For more sophisticated, mature endeavors like say holiday parties or events that you might be going to more in the fall and winter, this would be a great fragrance too. I don't think that this would lose its appeal in colder weather. I find that that kind of musky, mature tuberose that is in there but is not overpowering and stifling works really well in colder environments. I wouldn't say in the super brisk cold, but like fall and early winter, I think you can enjoy this fragrance too. This is also the type of fragrance that can be dressed down. So if you're looking for an everyday beautiful fragrance that you can wear that smells timeless, elegant, and sophisticated, I think you can enjoy this. But if you're also looking for a fragrance that can be worn in more of a formal or professional setting, that you want to be able to kind of smell to impress but not overwhelm, this is fantastic too. I really enjoy the way that this fragrance performs in regards to longevity and projection. It has a beautiful longevity. I get about 6 to 7 hours on my skin, and it does last a little bit longer than that, but those first few hours it has a beautiful, very light, billowy, effervescent projection where you're really picking up the tuberose and the narcissus, and I really enjoy the way it smells as it projects. And as you kind of smell it closer, you get a little bit more of the passion fruit. It's a little bit more milky and sweet. So you do get a nice kind of different way that you can experience that, smelling it from afar and smelling it up close. Now, I will say that white florals and fragrances that might have ambergris or musks could be considered to be not safe to wear in a professional setting. A lot of people have very real feelings about this fragrance, but I find nothing about this to be crazy offensive like other mature white floral fragrances. And I do love very mature white floral fragrances. That's not a negative, it's actually a positive. But sometimes a lot of people can have very real experiences with those and just not like them. This doesn't have that. Because of the slight softness and the fruitiness, I think it tones down all the negative aspects that can be, you know, considered to be a little bit too much for people who don't like to have musky white florals. It tames the bad and elevates the good, which is why I think this is an expertly blended and a beautifully created fragrance. At the end of the day, I love this scent. It's fantastic. It's everything I hoped it would be. I love the way it smells on the skin. I like the way it kind of dances in the air. At the end of the day, as a white floral lover, it definitely is something really beautiful and also very wearable. But it is very pricey, so I can understand people's hesitation to pull the plug on this fragrance. It is, again, ridiculously expensive. But in my opinion, we're not going to talk about if a fragrance should be this amount of money. Is this fragrance, in my opinion, worth the amount of money in regards to presentation, in regards to how it smells and performance? And when I'm saying this, I'm not judging it against fragrances that are, you know, like $100 to $200 or less. I'm judging this as other fragrances between the $5,000 and $1,000 mark. How does this perform? How is this presentation? And how is the overall experience? Is this worth the money along other fragrances that are in that same category? You know, think fragrances from Raja, Clive Christian, Royal Crown, Amouage, and Serjoff. Do I think that this is worth the money comparing it to other very expensive fragrances? And I would say yes. This has some of the most unique presentation. It is kind of comical when you don't know what to expect. And if you order this and you don't know what to expect, you're in for a surprise. And I think that it's really kind of fascinating that they thought about the entire experience of this fragrance. And that's what I want to see, especially from very expensive fragrances. You want a memorable experience. You want the presentation to be perfect, and you want everything to be unique and special because you're paying an exceptionally exceptional price. And I think from the quality of the bottle to this really unique starfish, I think that the presentation of this definitely screams prestige, and I think that they definitely captured that in their presentation. Now, I always say that a fragrance doesn't have to be expensive to smell expensive. You can get some really inexpensive fragrances that smell like they might be worth a lot of money, but a really expensively priced fragrance should smell expensive. It should not smell cheap. And I think that this definitely smells that way, and it has more to do with the balance of all the notes than everything else. When I look for expensive fragrances, I look at compositions and I hope that the ingredients, one, smell quality, but also that it was blended with a lot of care in mind. And again, you can get that in very cheap fragrances. I'm not saying that that is limited to expensive bottles of perfume, but when you are slapping like a $725 price tag on a bottle of perfume and people don't really care too much about the quality of the notes because, you know, they can find something cheaper that smells the same, you want to, when you smell it, be impressed. Smell like you're smelling something of quality. It's kind of like if you feel a fabric, you can kind of tell a fabric if it's, you know, like a more expensive fabric or a cheaper fabric. You want that expensive kind of feel and smell. So this definitely has that, and that has more to do with the blending and balancing of the notes and the quality of the ingredients, although the quality of the ingredients to my untrained nose, or my mildly trained nose, smells really good. Musks can easily date white floral fragrances, especially tuberoses. It can pull it into that, you know, that woman in the elevator when you were a child, like going home into your apartment building that wore way too much perfume and you couldn't handle it. You know, white florals and musks are one of those like notes and fragrances that people just get headaches of, they get suffocated, they just don't like. But it's done in such a beautifully and meticulously balanced way. There's nothing about this that feels dated. It just smells timeless and beautiful. The ambergris doesn't overpower. The passion fruit doesn't dull. The narcissus is just animalic enough to kind of give it a beautiful and unique little edge in the background. But the tuberose is the star of the show, and if you like more mature, sophisticated, timeless tuberose fragrances, more on the green and citrusy side and less on the creamy tropical side, I think you're really going to enjoy this. That's just my opinion, and at the end of the day, I think Atlantide is a beautiful offering from this house. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance, and something that I've been wearing a lot of and I really, really enjoy. So I would love to know what you guys think. I know people have very real opinions about this fragrance or fragrances that are priced like this. I'd love to know if you had the opportunity to try this fragrance. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Let me know in the comment section below. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.